With me here, I have Ranch. We are now a few weeks post-surgery, and we can start implementing some training back into our daily routine. Now, he still can't be physically worked, but we can work him mentally. So a fun thing that I've been starting with him is doing some target training. In this video, our end goal is going to be when I hold the halter that he's going to drop his head into it, just for easy haltering, and it's just a fun game for him to have. He's very food motivated. He's a super smart horse. So I'm going to be walking you through how I'm doing target training with Ranch. So here you can see him smelling my hand, and his nose is starting to kind of get towards my treat pouch. So I'm not going to push his head away or get after him for that or anything like that. I'm just going to move my body, not move my feet to where he thinks that he can move my feet away from him, but I'm just going to discourage him from sniffing my hand or sniffing my treat pouch. I'm just going to rotate myself a little bit. I'm going to change positions so that it's not as accessible to him, and then I'm going to hold the target farther away from my body, and then when I give him the food, I'm going to stretch my arm around so that he has to reach his head around completely away from my body in order to get the food. I'm never going to give him the food at me or near my treat pouch so that he doesn't think that I am the food. When he touches the bobber, then he gets the food. So I'm really trying to reinforce that him sniffing my face, coming into my space, sniffing my treat pouch, you don't get any food for that. You don't get any reward for that. You get it by touching the bobber. You get the food far away from my body. So we worked on using with just the bobber so that he got the idea, when I touch this, I get food. I touch this, I get something good. After working with just the bobber for a little bit so that he started getting the idea that when I touch this, I get food, now we're going to work on using the ultimate goal, which is going to be the halter. So I'm going to have the bobber on the other side of the halter and start encouraging him to put his nose through the halter to touch the bobber to get the food. So you can see him reaching around the side. He's really using his brain here, trying to figure out, I don't really understand this. There's the bobber. I don't really know why this halter is in front of me. So it's so fun to watch his brain work, and he starts putting his nose through, touching the bobber through it. So right here, I started to notice that he was getting frustrated, and I don't think that he was fully grasping the idea. He had food on his mind too much, and he's like, I don't understand how to get this. So he's trying to do everything else other than put his nose through the halter. And I'm trying to encourage him a little bit more, give him a little bit of an easier answer, sticking the bobber through the halter so that it's a little bit more obvious to him. So what I ended up doing here is I put the halter down, and we just went back to only using the bobber without the halter also being involved, so that it was breaking it down a little bit more for him, bringing his confidence back up, not making him confused, so that he was fully understanding what was happening. So once I broke it down for him and I put the halter down and I just offered him the bobber again, he was like, oh, I know what this means. And it was just right away, he picked it back up, and then he started touch, treat, touch, treat. So we did that a few more times just to build him back up, and then I reintroduced the halter with it. So after doing that, now we're back with the halter and the bobber. I'm really making it simple for him and sticking the bobber pretty much through the halter the entire time for the first 1 or 2 tries, and then I'm going to start offering it a little bit lower and then putting the halter a little bit lower, but you can still see he's reaching for my hand thinking, oh, the food came from this last time. So just keep with it, stay steady, don't push them away or make them scared. That if they get the wrong answer, then there's going to be some sort of punishment following behind it. Just discourage them from sniffing your hand or your treat pouch or your body, and then pick back up right where you left off. Offer the bobber, offer the halter. When he touches it, he has to fully touch it though on his own. You can't bring it to his nose and be like, well, you got close enough, because he needs to be doing the action of touching it so that he's like, oh, okay, this is what this means. So right there, he touches it, and then right as he touches it is when I give him the cluck, which is his bridge signal that he got the right answer, and then the food follows immediately after. So now that he's starting to get the hang of the whole halter bobber idea with them put together, I'm going to start putting the bobber a little bit farther away from the halter so that he has to drop his nose through it. It takes him a minute. He's trying to go around the halter still, but he does start understanding what this means, which is very exciting. So what I love about being able to do target training like this is if your horse is on mandatory stall rest or you have bad weather and you can't ride or you can't do groundwork, there's still other things that you can do with your horse for some enrichment, mental exercise for them. So like Ranch, he's in his rehab post-surgery stage right now, so he can't really be moving around, round penning, doing any type of running, just so that his sutures can heal. So this is just another good way to be able to work him and keep him busy. So I'm wrapping up the session. He has done this quite a few times in a row. He's starting to understand to put his nose through the halter and touch the bobber. I'm getting towards the end of my treat pouch, which is about his attention span, so I don't want to overload him too much and keep asking him, and then I start losing his attention. He starts getting bored of it, and then I'm cramming too much information at him. So we wrapped up with that. We ended on a good note. So now we're going to be flowing into day 2, and you can see where we ended last time. He pretty much picked it up immediately. It's good letting them soak up on the knowledge overnight, and then when you come back the next day, you should hopefully be pleasantly surprised how far along they seem, and then how quickly you can advance to the next thing. So his attention was there. He was like, I understand this, we got this. He's offering to put his nose all the way through the halter. He's way less muggy around me, on my hands, on the treat pouch, and he's totally offering to put his nose all the way through. So I'm so happy with how this session was. So over the next couple of days, we're really going to solidify the target on the other side of the halter and him putting his nose through, and then we'll start working on dropping his head and keeping his head at that level. So I'll make an updated video once we're at that stage.